Welcome to the Spiritual Principles Made Practical podcast. I'm your host, Scott Friedman, and today we're going to be answering the question, how do we deal with difficult emotions? Because we've all got them. We've all got them, and the facts are, and you can try this out for yourself, is that the emotions are created by our thoughts. So say joy, happiness, vitality, excitement, peace, happiness, wonderful. We say those words and we see those emotions in our face, in our voice, in our expression. And then we say the words, I'm failing. There's no hope for me. Nothing I do works. It's just, this is just a futile effort. Really, I can't believe I haven't given up already, but, it's honestly, it's something I really have to consider. And so you see those thoughts and the energy associated with those thoughts is just in the dumpster. So step one in dealing with difficult emotions is to identify the thoughts that are creating emotions. Then allow those thoughts to exist. So, like for me, it's, I'm not getting anywhere and this is a fool's errand and you should just give up. That's a really common negative thought that I have. I've had that thought for on and off for long as I can remember, right? So it is not really going away, but by acknowledge it and I say, okay, nothing I do makes any difference and nobody cares and there's just not a place for me in the world. I go, well, okay. I'm having that thought. Let's take a look at that thought. Is that thought accurate? Well, no, I give speeches. I may not have the whole world uh, downloading and following my podcast and engaging in win-win solutions, but I've certainly inspired people to think about win-win solutions and I mean, I've sold all the books I want, but I have sold some books you know? And so it's like it's not a complete disaster. And ultimately the what's happening is that I'm persisting and I'm making progress and persistence, and that the real goal is to feel vitally alive. And there are so many times, and I'm really doing well with that because that's the most important of all of the goals and stuff is to be vitally alive. And so many times when I've recorded podcasts and given speeches and stuff, I've experienced being vitally alive. And so I really am succeeding at the most important thing, being increasingly vitally alive, and my communication skills are improving. And that's always exciting when I find another way to communicate more effectively and accept myself more fully. And I see that acceptance reflected back in people. And so basically, you take that thought and you ask yourself, okay, there's that thought. Is that thought true? And invariably, what we'll find out is that thought's not really true. And that by accepting that that thought's there, it's still there, right? So this idea that I'm failing and nothing I do is ever going to make any difference, and this is just a fool's errand, and the contribution that I hope to make to the world is just never going to happen. That thought's still there, and that's okay, and it can be there, but it doesn't have to inhibit me, and it hasn't in a great many instances inhibit me from feeling vitally alive and the joy of being, and so it's okay, right? You can be there. And so that's how you deal with negative emotions is that you identify the thought that's creating them, you allow that thought to be, you ask yourself, is that thought true? You listen to what comes up, and invariably, the negative thoughts are just not true. On some level, at least, they're just not true. And it works for me. Let me know if it works for you. I do thought coaching where we identify those thoughts, right? And we heal them through acceptance. And if that's something that's of interest to you, you can schedule a free introductory session by contacting me at scottfriedman40@gmail.com, SCOTTFRIEDMAN40 at gmail.com. My books are available on Amazon. You can find links to them on my website, www.thoughtcoachingbyscott.com. Alrighty. So all we have to do to experience that joy, that upliftment, that happiness is when we're feeling in the dumps, ask ourselves what thought is creating that depressed feeling in the dumps feeling, and then ask, is that thought true? And listen to the answers. Okay, on we go. Bye.